and welcome to our lecture on sensation and perception. Sensation is the process through which our sense organs convert environmental energy, such as light or sounds, into these neural signals. Perception is the process through which we interpret sensory information. And psychologists who study sensation and perception are interested in understanding how the mind processes this sensory stimuli. This specific branch of psychology is called psychophysics. Thresholds. There's absolute threshold, which is the minimum intensity of a stimulus at which participants can identify its presence 50% of the time. Thresholds in general are the minimal level of intensity or strength of a stimulus that is significant to activate a sensory process. So this could be, for instance, the minimum number of molecules that must be present in the air for us to be able to smell this substance. And then the difference threshold is the minimum difference in intensity that we can distinguish between the two stimuli 50% of the time. This is also known as just noticeable difference, or JND. Weber's law. Now, this is one of the major principles when it comes to sensation. It's based on the fact of sort of various intensities. The difference threshold tends to be a constant fraction of the stimulus. As the strength of the original stimulus increases, the magnitude of the change must also increase in order for a just noticeable difference to be perceived. Seeing color. So on the left, you'll see paint, and on the right is light. So a greater portion of our brains is devoted to vision more so than any other of our senses. Vision is composed of three major parts: eyes, which capture and respond to light energy; the neural circuits, which transmit signals from the eye to the brain; and visual centers within the brain that sort of interpret these messages. The theory of color vision is made possible by the presence of three cone types in your retina, and these retract respectively to red, green, or blue light. These sort of different sensitive cones give our brain a way of knowing what color of light we are seeing at any particular moment. This theory sort of explains certain aspects of color vision, but one aspect that it cannot explain is negative after images. This can't be explained by this theory. The next topic is color blindness. Now, color blindness is a condition in which a person cannot perceive one or more colors because the altered cone of activity in the retina. Color blindness is often genetic. It could also be caused by injury or something along the lines of like that to the retina, but in general, it's usually genetic. Red-green color blindness can result from a lack of red or green cones built in the retina, and red-green color blindness occurs in approximately 8% of males in the United States. Depth perception, as illustrated on the slide, is the visual cliff. This is a test of early 3D perception. Most infants refuse to crawl across the visual cliff. It was also found that crawling, no matter when it begins, seems to really increase an infant's fear of heights. Some other interesting parts of depth perception are binocular clues. These are visual clues for depth or distance. It really depends on both eyes working together. It's also known as retinal disparity. The difference in the retinal image of an object as seen from each eye due to the difference in viewing angles that provides an important binocular clue for your depth. Convergence is a binocular distance clue based on the fact that the two eyes must rotate towards the inside to perceive objects closer than about 25 feet. The closer the object, the more rotation is necessary and the more muscle tension is created. There's also monoclear views, and this is the views such as linear perspective, height on a plane that can be used with just one eye. There's interposition, and these are objects close to tend to block out parts of objects that are farther away. There's linear perspective. This is the parallel lines really converge when stretched, into the distance. There's relative height, and objects that are highest on one's plane of view appear to be the farthest away. A relative size, the objects of the same size appear to be smaller the farther they are from the viewer. And then relative motion, moving objects appear to move a greater distance when they are closer to the viewer than when they are farther away. Another is light and shadow. Shadowing produces a sense of depth um, with our assumption that light comes from above. And that is our lecture. I hope you've enjoyed it.